Welcome to another edition of Pop Culture Talk, here with great stories. We've got a three-man team here. We sent Ken home. Sorry. He's got some homework to do. Anyway, so we got Wayne Demers, Rob Goyer, and me,
Chris Mills.
So thank you very much,
Mills.
Wayne. Appreciate that.
Mills.
So weird introducing myself. Anyhow, we are going to talk. Anyhow, we are going to talk Jurassic World, I believe, this evening.
Okay.
Got a couple other things for you, but we'll just rip right into that right now.
Yeah.
So, who saw it?
I saw it.
Wayne, you?
Yeah.
I saw it, but it was trailer form.
Saw it in trailer form.
Well,
okay.
I felt like I saw the whole movie
Yeah, but you
in the
didn't.
trailers.
But you trust me, you didn't.
No.
You didn't.
No, I know.
You saw some
But
big parts of it, but you
there-
didn't
yeah,
see.
yeah.
Yep.
So what'd you think of it, Chris?
So, we'll start off with generalities before we dig into the details, right? But,
And so we'll throw out spoiler alert because
so-
we're going to talk about themes and main plot. So
absolutely. So just stop
Yep.
watching now.
yeah, go
But-
see the
but
movie,
don't.
come back. Okay.
So Jurassic World was a fun ride, I would say. I was entertained. I don't think it's going to win any awards for, being a great film by any stretch of the imagination. You get basically what you want out of it, which is
Dinosaurs?
dinosaurs and cool action sequences,
Tense, scary moments.
tense, scary moments, and the obligatory
And a
new
couple
introductions. A couple of homages, yep.
Yeah.
Um,
Winks or nods to previous films.
You do.
Jurassic Park. Yeah.
References back to characters from the original,
Series.
and you even get Jeff Goldblum, who's not really involved in the actual plot of the core story, but he's got this kind of like a bookended appearance.
Yeah, so despite what you see on the Jeep Wrangler commercial where he's driving and there's a T-Rex chasing, that does not happen in the movie, just so you know.
You mean he doesn't break the fourth wall?
Peanut Gallery!
So,
I'm the Jeff Goldblum of this video.
yes, you are. Exactly. Production guy would be Jeff Goldblum in this movie.
Yeah.
So there's definitely Jeff Goldblum appears as basically giving testimony in front of Congress, more or less, about the wisdom of a certain legislative effort.
So I think the issue
Right.
was whether or not should we or should we not, as a government, get involved in saving a species known to be doomed by a volcano on the island. And so Jeff Goldblum is giving his 2 cents on whether or not we should do it in front of
That's
Congress,
right.
some congressional committee.
And anyone who has seen the Jurassic Park series would know which side of the coin Jeff Goldblum's character is going to fall on. And that is, of course, to say, heck no, do not save dinosaurs.
Yeah.
There's a reason why they were extinct the first time, and they
Yeah.
need to go back into extinction.
So he reprises that role. It's Jeff Goldblum, and I felt like he really said, "You're gonna pay me to just reiterate the same dialogue? Well, go ahead, I'll cash that check."
He didn't even
Because
need to
quite
look at the
honestly, I
script.
felt like that was money that was how they introduced him and how they utilized the character.
Mhm.
They could have not used him at all. Quite honestly,
True.
no big deal.
But it's a nice
Don't-
little nod to the fans of the series,
Yep.
the legacy fans,
Yeah, and then what's nice is it really shows you that there are other ways, but this is not a retelling of a Jurassic Park movie. This is Jurassic World, and the story is different. And I do feel like we did get a different story. The fact that the island has a volcano,
Yep.
and I think that goes right to stereotypes of, the volcanoes are once again going to take over or are going to eradicate dinosaurs. How about that? Yet again.
Yep.
But whatever. It's something for us to see. We've not seen those reactions from dinosaurs and stuff, so that was cool.
That's right. So who are the other players here in the story? The pivotal roles.
So you get the same characters that I don't remember the character names. I need to start coming with the sheet with all that stuff. But you get the same characters that you got from the first film with a couple new characters. Damn, I wish I knew who the actor was, the real young actor. That he was an IT guy.
Oh yeah.
Right, I can't think of his name,
I
but
have
he
no idea.
was great in one of the Netflix series, and I can't think of the name of that series at the moment, so I'm really absolutely no good even talking about that. But those of you out there that know, and those that you don't know, well, Google.
Yeah.
But anyway, the acting I felt was fine.
You got
The
Chris.
story,
You got Chris Pratt's
Pratt.
character.
yeah,
You've got Dallas Bryce Howard, right?
yep.
You've got.
Well, I like her.
Yep.
She was good.
Yep. And then they bring in their two underlings. Well, they're Howard's underlings, basically, right? There's a female and a male. The male, the IT guy,
Yeah,
basically, and then the girl. What was her specialty? She was a veterinarian,
yeah.
right?
Or a paleontologist or something along those lines. More of
Yeah.
a vet because she has a hands-on
She has
role.
medical skills,
Yeah.
you know, and which you could pick up at any college, to aid in dinosaur physiology, whatever. But anyway, I digress. So this team gets assembled. Basically, it starts off with Howard's character and the two underlings, basically deciding that they're going to assist in an effort by a wealthy. Who was
So they belong to a group, Save the Dinosaurs,
Save
and
the
they're
Dino- yeah,
trying
exactly.
to
They're activists.
they're trying to petition people to to become involved and go to the island and save these dinosaurs. And
They're going to flaunt
they get a
international
phone
law
call.
to do it.
Yeah, so that they're in the idea that if we have to, we'll figure out a way to go there and save the dinosaurs. And they end up getting a call from a benefactor, to which Howard goes out to meet with that benefactor, and it turns out that benefactor is the brother of, what was that character's name from Jurassic Park? The gentleman who found the amber and funded all that. What was his name? Can't think of his name, but
yeah, we're terrible
anyway,
on the names. But
yeah, so we should.
the old grandpa character, basically from the original
His name
Jurassic
is
Park
right-
film.
Yeah.
But
Hammond, right?
Hammond.
Yeah. So that they're going to get their funds. You're going to go there, and what the plot point that we see once again is, oh, you got tricked. So they go to back to the island, and the whole idea was that you're going to bring back some of the species, but Blue, the dinosaur Blue. That one's an important one. We definitely want to bring Blue back, and that was why we bring Chris Pratt along, because there's that connection between Blue and Pratt.
That's right.
And so Pratt requires a little bit of coaxing, but he shows up to save the day, and he's going to go there too.
He does, because he's kind of the Jeff Goldblum mind, it seems, at the very beginning of the movie. Like, let the dinosaurs die.
Right.
Like,
right. But that's more of a doesn't want to get involved. I've moved on. He doesn't have a philosophy one way or the other. It's just more of like, I'm building my house.
He just wants to build his house in the wilderness, away from
I'm
everybody.
Clint Eastwood. I'm going to build my house, and I'm going to be happy out here, Unforgiven style, right?
That's right.
So, but he goes, and they get to the island, and lo and behold, they're Chris. What's the word I'm looking for, Chris? They are.
Hoodwinked?
Yeah, hoodwinked. Okay, so they're double crossed. That's what I was trying to think of.
Yes.
They got double crossed, and the guy who is supposedly out there to be the muscle, the hunter, so to speak, double crosses him. And yes, the whole idea was we're capturing Blue and hightailing it out of there.
Yeah.
And to heck with everybody else. So a plot we've seen before in the Jurassic Park series, Jurassic World series. So to me, I was like, we see it once again. And then the story is that they bring him back to the United States, and they bring them back to the mansion. Black market. We're gonna auction them off to the highest bidder. We
Yep.
have 11 species we're able to
A
save.
bunch of people who want to weaponize the genes, basically,
Yeah.
of these creatures.
Yeah, and so this is what we're going to do, and through that there are a couple other plot points that come to the surface that we didn't know what to expect. So we'll cover those in a second. So that is pretty much the plot of the movie, and so one of the things I liked about the movie, if I could drive the discussion this way, is some of the things that we saw in the movies. There are scenes like there's actually a Ford Explorer that's upside down and just decaying. That clearly was the Explorer from the first Jurassic Park that had been nudged over by the T-Rex, and
Okay.
you know, so that's what we saw there.
That's a good
And
catch.
yeah, I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. A little
Yep.
wink to the original series. It
Yep.
even said Jurassic Park right on the door.
Yep.
So I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. But
Mhm.
that melts away because lava comes rushing through and melts the whole truck. But I was like, but I caught it, right?
Yep.
You catch it. I like the fact that, once again, we're back on a computer trying to reboot a system. I don't know if it's Unix, but we're back on there. And I just was waiting to hear,
You didn't say the magic word.
Yeah. So, but once again, you get that touch from the Jurassic Park series. So I felt like there are pieces throughout the movie that always give you that little nod to say, hey, we're just picking up and carrying on
Yep.
the legacy from Jurassic Park.
Mhm.
And I like that they did that.
Yep.
So that was pretty cool.
Mhm.
I don't know if you want to talk about some of the newer stuff that they, like, all right, the bubble, that was from what, the last movie?
I think the bubble came from the last film.
The last film,
Yeah,
right?
it did.
Yep.
And so we get the bubble, which was in the trailer,
Yep.
and there's nothing really changed about that scene. That scene, what you see right there, I
Yeah.
agree.
It's-
I kind of hated that they showed us that,
I
because
got
that
a-
was a pretty cool scene.
Yeah.
We got a lot of the premises of the movie and storylines of the movie from
Yeah.
the trailer.
Yeah.
So it's like,
There was a cool scene where they're all hiding behind the trees.
yeah.
These down trees, stumps and stuff, while the volcanoes erupted. And now all the dinosaurs are moving as fast as they
Yeah,
can.
they're fleeing.
And it's a throwback right back to the original Jurassic Park, where all the gallimimuses, remember?
Oh, yeah.
And there's literally a gallimimus that runs through, and I'm like, oh, there's a
That's
little
cool.
nod to the
Yeah.
original, but you're getting that feel through
Yeah.
the whole thing,
Sure.
Okay.
So, I mean, if you like Jurassic Park, you're still going to like Jurassic World. If you like
Yeah.
the dinosaurs, you're going to get the dinosaurs.
Right.
And guess what? We get more dinosaurs that we haven't seen in previous Jurassic Park, Jurassic World.
Cool.
You see one or two more carnivores that we
Yep.
didn't get before.
Yep.
So I was like, okay, I'm just going for the ride here. I paid my admission. Now I'm just going for the ride, and I'm not going to get too hung up on too many things.
Yeah.
The whole nod to that crocodile sharkish thing that was in the pool in the last
Yeah,
Jurassic
yeah.
World, that all comes back
Yeah.
again. Hey, there's some cool things that happen that you're like, that's a nod, that's a nod,
Yeah.
that's a nod.
I felt the opening where they were showing the team. There was a team that was basically going into access. They were trying to get basically a bone from
Yes.
one of the creatures. It was the Indominus.
So yeah,
From
it
the
was one of the.
Indominus Rex.
That's right.
And
They wanted a rib of
yeah.
that, and that creature was in the water.
in the water, because that's the what was the name of that creature that pulled it into the
I
water?
don't know.
I can't remember.
Mosasaur.
So allegedly, supposedly when the team was going in there, all the dinosaurs were supposed to have been
Extinct.
basically, dead
Yeah.
at this point,
Right.
because there was no food source for them. But they
That's
go
the
in there,
nature of
and it's
this.
an excellent, suspenseful opening. Of course, they find out otherwise. You get an underwater team, basically. You've got the team up top that's kind of like doing the, coordinating some other things. And in the way that all plays out, it's just very well done. Sadly, I think that things kind of go a little awry from there for me. You know, you've got a movie that is basically chock full of these like stereotype characters. Hardly any gray area to any of the characters. Especially the villain roles are just like there's nothing redeeming them about them at all. You know, there's no. Everyone's just driven by money, and that's it. And they're like you just want them all dead basically. That's like you're like, oh good, I hope a dinosaur eats you.
Spare
you
no
know,
expense.
Yeah, exactly. You know, so you know, so in terms of, I felt that maybe the antagonists were a little bit oversimplified for me.
Yeah.
You know, their motives were just too
Yep.
too stereotypically totally evil, greedy. You know, with there was nothing there that was like a gray area where you could say like, okay, I could see their motivation a little bit here. I can understand, you know, and maybe drive a little sympathy into the character. So when something happens, you're kind of like, I feel a little bit more about this. But maybe you're supposed to feel like, you know, that piece of popcorn you're throwing up in the air and you're trying to catch it in your mouth. You're just saying, oh look, bad guy, you know, dead, and that's what you want. I'm not sure, but for me, it was a little bit too simplistic in that regard.
I agree, especially when they one of the reveals is that we've geneticized a dinosaur that never existed before. So they take a raptor and another predator and put them together, and then they've trained this thing to attack things that are identified by a laser beam and a sound.
Yep.
And so then that creature will attack. That whole scene I felt was so drawn out because, you know, from rooftop to in the room to somewhere else to in a cage, in the basement, on top of the roof again, I was just kind of like, all right, now I'm kind of done with this dinosaur, let's chase everybody around type deal. Yeah, I'm with you. I feel like some things were played out a little too long, you know.
Yeah.
And then in the end, there was another big reveal that the brother of Hammond, I think it was his brother. I think that's what they had said.
Yep.
He had lost his daughter, and so he has a granddaughter. And what comes to play in all of this, and again, big spoiler here, is that the granddaughter isn't truly a granddaughter. It is a clone of his daughter. So they've taken the technology that they use to make dinosaurs,
Yeah.
and he's used it to clone a human being.
Yes.
And so he has the granddaughter is actually
boy.
his daughter.
Yep.
And that was a big reveal. And it really leads you to somewhere we've never truly gone with. They talk about cloning, but they never truly talk about humans. I think unless you were talking about Jurassic Park in the very first one.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I liked that. I thought that was pretty neat. I actually liked the girl who was the actress. I liked her role, and I thought that was interesting. But
So another big complaint I had about this movie is just people acting stupidly, and to me, not doing things that made any sense. You know, and I'm going to point to the little girl here for a minute. She has no idea, at least we're led to believe that she has no idea what her true origin is, that she is a clone, all right?
mm-hmm.
The concept of her being a clone and not being a real girl, all right, is something that I'm not sure that she could wrap her head around. Yet, when it is revealed by the main villain in the story, it is done in such a cavalier, rushed manner.
Yeah.
As if, like, why would you even, first of all, the reveal when it happens, it's like, this is almost something like out of Dr. Evil, like in an Austin Powers film, where, like, there's an exposition where there shouldn't be any exposition by a character. You know, they basically meet in a hallway in a very tense moment, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, here, let me just drop this knowledge on you. You know, like, it was just so, like, out of place.
Yeah.
And then, you know, what is said, it's like you could almost be like, what the heck just happened here? And then this little girl supposedly now, like, understands, oh yeah, this is definitely me. You know, like she has this understanding that she's a clone and she doesn't have a real mommy. You know, like, you know, and that is just too easily accepted by the character, and so I don't really buy it. You know. By the way, the bad guy, his last name is Mills, which I found that to be pretty cool actually. So.
They're so much like you too.
Yeah.
After we watched that hockey game the other night.
Yeah.
Oh gosh. Oh, they're gonna talk about my hockey game. All right. Anyway.
So on the whole, what would you say?
But then, all right. But then, let me just
okay.
further this whole thing about people acting stupidly. There's that moment, you know, where basically there's like a gas leak down in the holding area, the holding pen.
Yeah.
The dinosaurs are all going to basically die. All right, they're going to just be
Some type of cyanide gas.
Some kind, yeah, exactly. They're
Which
just
we have
gonna be
absolutely no
poisoned.
idea why they have cyanide gas down there.
Who knows? We don't know.
We don't.
But it was very
Cyanide.
convenient once again to have a cyanide leak, right? So you have this happen, and you know Dallas Bryce Howard's character is basically wants to release the dinosaurs. Now they're on mainland here, by the way. All right, they are. By releasing the dinosaurs, the end result would be that dinosaurs, including carnivores, are going to be running loose through the countryside, probably eating innocent people, okay? But to Dallas Bryce Howard, this seems like a pretty good idea. I'm going to save the dinosaurs by releasing them all.
Weren't they all basically carnivores at that point?
No,
If they were
because
auctioning them off, or
they
did
had
they
a
have
couple.
more?
They had a couple,
Okay.
like plant eaters.
But
Oh,
definitely most of them were.
You had a small T-Rex. You had
Yeah.
you had Blue the raptor.
Yeah.
You have another raptor that, well, that raptor was already loose, I guess. But there were some other things that were there. But so it was a mix.
Yeah.
It was a mix, but it was mainly towards the carnivore end because they were targeting those breeds
Mhm.
for the weaponization. So, at any rate, you know, Pratt, instead of like basically, he's like trying to talk her down, from pressing that button.
Yeah.
Like, but even his argument was more like, do you really want to do that? Like instead of like, are you out of your mind? To me that would have been the natural reaction is, are you crazy? Are you thinking that this is a good idea to release these dinosaurs to just run free and create havoc? No, he's more like, I'm going to let you do what you want to do, but do you really want to do that? And then, of course, common sense prevails for her, at least, and she walks away and she says, no, like that's not the right thing. But who's the one that releases him? The little girl who had just been terrorized through the last half hour of the movie being chased by this man-eating beast is the one who ends up releasing these dinosaurs, which makes no sense because, I'm sorry, in the mind of a child, usually things are black and white for young children. It's right or it's wrong. And after getting almost eaten for the last half hour of the film, the last thing I can imagine a child doing is saying, oh yeah, let's release the dinosaurs. So to me, the whole thing just smacked of like stupidity with the characters' actions. Sorry, I got really animated there, but that doesn't take away from the entertainment value of the film. The film is very entertaining. It really is. But, I really have to kind of put it out of my mind that these characters are just dumb.
That's the entire franchise, though.
Oh, it is the
it's-
entire franchise.
You just
but
gotta forget about that aspect.
I suppose, you have to. But yeah, there's just very little logic that is employed here.
Yeah.
And I did not see, by the way, I guess there's an extra scene after the credits.
Oh, I didn't stick around for that.
Ah, so all right, so that's going to remain a mystery now. So that will be the one non-spoiler that you get.
I actually don't know why I didn't even
Didn't even occur to
think
you?
no. And I usually do that. I always pick up my
Yeah.
phone and look to see if there's any stingers, whatever they want to call it, at
Yeah.
the end. And I didn't even think about it.
So I didn't simply because we saw the movie so late, and the wife and I needed to get back home, so we did not
Yeah.
stick around. But I just decided to look it up but I can't even remember what it was. Apparently, it wasn't that significant.
Well, at the end, we
Um,
see Blue overlooking a town or city or
Yes.
a suburban area.
Yes.
And I'm like, okay, whatever, yeah. So Blue's loose. Where's Blue? We'll have Blue clues. Where's Blue? Jurassic World 3, Blue's Clues.
Blue's Clues.
Blue's Clues. Yeah.
But,
And
yeah,
the
so that's
notebook.
interesting. My thing was I checked my mind at the door and just was like, okay, I'm going to go in here and have fun. And,
Yep.
just
Yeah,
because
that's-
it's dinosaurs, right? Give me dinosaurs. As a kid, my father used to always kid around, and there was a golf course that was at the end of our street,
Mhm.
and sometimes when we would have thunder, he'd be like, "Oh, it's just the dinosaurs on the golf course." And so, now I'm seeing movies where I'm just waiting to see a dinosaur on a golf course, and just kind of laugh.
Every time you see an alligator on one, that's pretty much a dinosaur on a golf course.
Alligators in the sewers.
Yeah.
All right, so that's our wrap up, I
Alligators in the
guess, for
sewers.
Jurassic World.
Jurassic World.
Jurassic World,
Yeah.
yep.
I think we're giving it a,
Eh.
Middle.
not a thumbs up or
Popcorn.
down.
Popcorn movie.
Yeah.
Yep.
It'll make
Okay.
its money. Good
Good.
special effects.
Yep. Absolutely. So,
None of us have seen. No, I'm sorry. You did see Incredibles 2.
I did not see Incredibles
Oh, you did not.
2.
Did you
no.
see it?
No.
Stay tuned for the next one because we'll talk about Incredibles 2
Yeah.
at the next pop culture, I guess.
Yeah. No, we will. It'll still be relevant.
Oh yeah.
I
All right.
think
What else we got on there?
I think we're going to turn our attention to Netflix.
Ah.
Netflix, of course, especially for our little area of expertise, is producing a lot of great content for us, especially with the Marvel partnership. And so, the latest release is no exception. We have Luke Cage Season 2, which, as of this airing, has been out for about a week or so. A little over a week.
Yeah.
So, I haven't finished the series. I am a few episodes in, almost halfway through the season. I believe
I'm at episode 8.
you're at episode 8, so you're further along than I am. Rob is
I'm a little bit behind.
He's at episode 1, season 1.
So,
maybe Rob should have gone home
But,
with Ken to hang out and watch
but
some
no,
stuff.
it's.
No.
I've heard that season 2 just blows season 1 out of the water.
That's the buzz, huh?
You know,
I don't know,
that's
it's
easy to
just-
say, and that's
it is
because when you have season 1 where you really have to introduce and develop all your characters. So
Yes.
now you're not having to introduce every character,
Yeah.
right? And it also helps that you had Defenders, that series,
Yep.
where we got some of the characters out of the Luke Cage world into Defenders. So I'm enjoying this season.
Yep.
I went to Rhode Island Comic Con back in November, and I went to the panel, the Luke Cage panel, and so it was interesting because they wouldn't talk about this upcoming season, and for good reason, and they were reluctant to talk too much into detail because they thought that they might divulge information about season 2. The one thing that they kept saying though over and over is, if you like the music in the first season, you're going to continue to like the music in the second season because there's a lot more music in the second season.
Oh yeah.
And they're right because they're the nightclub that's there. There's always a new band, and some of those bands.
Fantastic music.
Yeah, some of the blues. I actually saw them on YouTube.
Mhm.
There's a really heavy guy that plays the guitar. I had seen him play on other YouTube videos. I'm like, oh, I know who that guy is.
Yep.
So I'm enjoying the music for sure.
Yep.
Good music, good plot, good story, good acting, great casting once again.
Yep.
If I had to complain about one thing is where you're dealing with a Jamaican sect that's in New York now.
Yes.
And so it just takes retuning your ears to pick up some of what they say because they say it with such a strong accent at times.
Yep.
So my suggestion to viewers is if you have trouble, like I did, understanding the Jamaican accent, hit your closed caption, so that way you can actually read it when you're struggling with what did he really say. Because I don't use that frequently, because I will usually rewind and watch some of the scene over again, and then I'm like, oh, I know what he said now. Yeah, it's been really good. I'm really happy with it.
So the plot development has been solid. I mean, you've got your principal villains in the series are Mariah.
Yep.
Who's got her, I guess you could say, romantic interest is her partner
Shades.
in Shades. So they're like this, and then you've got there's a new guy in the mix, who's kind of like basically the number 3, who it seems like Mariah, and I can't remember his name offhand, but
You talking about Piranha, her financial guy?
no,
Okay. You're talking about the other guy with shades?
yes.
Yeah, I can't think of his name off the top of my head.
And but she's so dismissive of him. Like Mariah to the number
right.
3 guy is like very dismissive. Like doesn't even like acknowledge his name. Like, oh, who are you? That type of thing. A lot of that stuff. So there's a lot of like, there seems to be a lot of like an undermining there or a tension. Even within the chief antagonist group. But then you've got the introduction, as Wayne had mentioned, of this Jamaican group that I believe is called
Bushmaster.
the Yard Boys or something like that.
Okay, I remember.
I believe that's the name of it, but
their name had changed a couple times, but the
Yep.
thing you really need to know is the main character is the Bushmaster.
yeah,
That's what he calls himself, and he is there because of something to do with Mariah Stokes. We find out her name is Stokes, and
Yeah.
he's got something that he is a vendetta there
Yep.
against her specifically. So he's there to take down and take all of Brooklyn.
that's right. That's right. So he's basically this like a third power faction, but
Yeah.
that just because he's against Mariah does not put him in alignment. However, with Luke Cage.
Correct.
He views Luke Cage as basically being a rival, because he wants to be, he considers Harlem his turf, period. And there shouldn't be any other power players on the board. So that's been an interesting little subplot
Yeah.
so far.
And so what you get between
and-
Bushmaster and Cage is that Cage, his ego may have kind of inflated a little bit because of who he is, and he's accepted in the community.
Yeah.
And now he's a power player that's actually doing good things, but he feels he's invincible at this point.
Right.
In comes Bushmaster now, who he uses, what I don't want to say black magic, but that's kind of what it is, more or less. And that's where he gains his strength, his power, his invulnerability, and takes Luke Cage by surprise and shows him that, not only are you invincible, but so am I. And that's and that really rattles Cage. It rattles who he is, because is he the type of person who's going to go to the dark side, so to speak, do wrong things to ultimately do right?
Yeah.
Or will
Yeah.
he stay on the right side of the law to get things done? And it's that ebb and flow, the pull
Yeah.
back and forth in opposite directions, the tug of war between his beliefs and what he feels he needs to do. And his father is introduced into this whole thing now, and he's a minister, not necessarily a minister who is spot free from doing any wrongs in his life.
Yep.
And so you get the storytelling between them.
Yep.
And so it's great because you get more character development of Luke Cage and who he is.
Cage is dealing with anger issues, which now creep into his relationship with Claire.
Yeah, Claire. Poor Claire.
And so that was kind of interesting. Also, there's you mentioned Piranha. There's a scene where Cage almost does something pretty horrific in front of a Piranha's family.
No, that's
right?
not Piranha.
That's
not Piranha.
Was it not Piranha?
No, Piranha was the financial
No.
guy.
So it was Cockroach.
Cockroach,
Cockroach.
yes.
Excuse me.
Yep.
So, and he catches himself, but he's basically dealing throughout the season here these various instances where his anger is getting a little out of control, and of course, being a superpowered being, his
With great power comes great responsibility.
Yeah, exactly.
And he's struggling with the responsibility part.
Exactly, he is. He really is. So that's been an interesting, little aspect of this particular season. Then on the other end of things, you have Misty Knight, who,
Yeah.
in the Defender series, she has lost her arm,
Yeah.
saving Colleen Wing.
Yep.
All right, and I thought there was a really great kind of interaction between Misty Knight and Colleen in
Because
this.
she does make an appearance in an episode or two. Yeah.
That's right, and so it's great because Netflix, Marvel, they're doing a great job kind of linking all these stories together.
Yeah.
You've got of course Claire. You've got Colleen Wing, you've got Misty, and you've got Foggy Nelson even.
Foggy Nelson and the Rand Enterprises, right?
And
Or
Rand
Industries.
Rand Industries, yeah.
Yeah.
So
because-
all these things kind of come into play, right? And these
Yeah.
characters. So, but Misty is really struggling with the whole how do I move on from this? Like her acceptance in the police force, her frustration basically with the process that the police force has to put into place in order to bust criminals, and their effectiveness in dealing with the problems in Harlem and Brooklyn. And so she's kind of at conflict right now, and she's wondering about her own self-worth, and kind of down on herself, and Colleen's trying to teach her some lessons, I think, and that's her purpose in the season. So there's a lot of great character development going on here, and so far I can't wait to get out of here and go watch some more Luke Cage actually tonight. So
what I like about Misty's character is it would have been very easy for them to go right in, give her her prosthetic arm, and keep going.
Yeah.
But they didn't. They've actually shown how she struggles a little bit, how she's trying to adapt.
Yes.
Even once she has the arm, it's not like, now I have an arm and I can do it. She's still going through.
She has an arm?
She has a learning curve, yeah.
Oh,
She's got
blew it
4
for
of them
me.
now. Like this, no, just kidding. But, it is interesting to see her go through all the emotions.
Yeah.
And I, too, when I go home, even though it's late, I'm going to go home and watch at least one more episode.
Mm-hmm.
So it's been a very good series.
Yep.
And I think it's right up there on par with all the other Marvel Netflix series that we've seen. I do
So
love how
maybe
they
the
pull.
reviews that Rob heard were correct and accurate.
I don't know.
Maybe this.
I hate to say it's the best. I'm not at the end yet, but it certainly
Right.
is very good.
Yeah.
Very, very good.
Yep.
And then another one that's on Netflix. Have you watched Voltron?
I started Voltron. I'm getting there.
Season 1? Is that what you got?
Season 1, yeah.
Okay,
I'm into
cool.
season 2 now.
Okay.
I'm liking it. I never saw the original 80s cartoon.
Oh, no? Okay.
I never saw any of it. I probably saw some reruns as a kid because I know the name Voltron. I know
Yeah.
what it is.
Yeah.
But I was never in-depth fan of it
Yeah.
because it never.
There
come
were
back.
actually 2.
But-
You had the cats and you had the automobiles.
Yeah.
So there were 2 different
Yeah,
Voltrons. A lot of
exactly.
people
So-
are so wedged. They don't like the cars at all. They only like the cats. The
Yeah,
lions,
so-
you know.
I only knew about the cats.
I only knew
Lions,
I only
yeah.
knew about the cats and the cars. I
Yeah.
thought it was Transformers.
No, so yeah, there
So
literally
it's
was
like
another
just
Voltron.
didn't know. I
Yeah.
just didn't know about it. So but
Which we haven't seen anything with the cars or anything.
yeah, no.
I have a theory, but seeing how you're only on season 2, I won't go into my theory.
Yeah,
But,
but great show, characters. Just in the first season of the character development of the Paladins and finding out the history of it, just they did it in a fantastic way.
So if
So-
you had seen the original, did you ever see the original?
I barely remember it from childhood. So
So I remember it because I was a little bit older, so I was at that awkward age, like, do you still watch cartoons or you don't watch
Yeah.
cartoons? And I just kept watching. So Voltron was interesting, but Voltron, although the story arc is that you have reoccurring villains that you'll see, but usually every episode was resolved by the end. So, you know, it was serialistic, I think they call it, right?
Mhm.
So there was not too much like, oh, stay tuned for next episode. You know, it wasn't really too much like that.
Yeah.
What I love about the Netflix series, when I heard they were doing Voltron, I was like, really? And like you, I felt like character development. What's this? You know?
Exactly, it's-
Oh, wait, we're carrying over, and this is a story arc that's going to cross multiple episodes? Okay, so I just stayed on with it, and I'm like, wow, like,
Every single
I'm surprised.
episode is carrying on
Yeah.
from the last point of where you left off in the last episode.
Yep.
So it's just
And I can tell you, you're only in season 2, and what Netflix has been doing is they give us like 10, then 7, then 8.
I noticed that, and I
so
was gonna question it.
I
but
I didn't like that at first, but what they are doing is they don't make you wait, you know, like months,
Yeah.
like 6 months to get new episodes. So we may get 7, but you're getting 7 after a couple of months.
exactly.
And then it's like, oh, you know, because we're able to binge watch now,
Mhm.
those 7 episodes would be actually 7 weeks during a regular
Yep.
TV show. So now I think we're into season 6, I think 6 or 7, and I have to tell you, by God, this last season, I could not stop watching it. I just couldn't. And I actually watched the last episode twice. I watched it back to back because I was so wowed with what goes on. So
Mhm.
if you're starting and you haven't gotten to this latest season, but keep going with it, because I'm telling you, the payoff in the end was like, wow. Like, I don't want to give anything away. I don't even want to give it away to the viewers. Just give it a shot. If you're an old guy like me and you're in your 40s and you remember it, you know, watch it, because it is not the childhood Voltron that we got as a kid. There's so much more depth to this story. And the animation, I like the animation.
Yeah.
Done very well. Done
Right.
very, very
So it
well.
is written for an older audience.
I feel like it's
Or-
written for
It's a mix.
both,
I
right?
think it's both. It's written for the nostalgia of the older audience, but it's also written for a new generation. Here is Voltron. Here's a new way we're presenting it.
Okay.
So it's presented in a new way where both people like me, where I never watched Voltron, I didn't know what it was. Now that I know what it is from the Netflix series, I might, after this series, I might even go back. I'll probably find it on YouTube or something.
You're
I
going
have
to
no
find it
comment.
very, very hard to watch any of
Oh
the
yeah,
older
but
stuff.
it's just one of those things where I'm just gonna give a couple episodes just to see what it was like from
Yeah,
back
I
then.
think you should.
Just to give the comparison, and
I think you'll like it, because I
Yeah.
think you'll see any viewer that may not have seen any of the older ones. I think you'll find it pretty difficult to watch it because it's very thin. Themes are thin. The plots are thin. You know, hey, let's Voltron defeat the enemy and yo Joe.
Yeah.
So you know, it's kind of like that. But man, it thematically, the plots, the way that the plots go from season to season, Netflix has wowed me with
Yeah.
Voltron. I truly did not expect to get that type of a series out of what I felt was a very, whatever, mecha, whatever.
remake,
Yeah.
great. I'm gonna be
Because what you
dissatisfied.
get is like spoon fed. Honestly, it's like pablum. If you're gonna watch
Yeah.
the old series, it's like pablum. And now here we are, man. Give me a steak dinner.
Yeah.
I mean, that's where I'm at with
Yep.
this series. Just really enjoying it. So
Yes.
Voltron, huge thumbs up for me. And I hope that you guys continue,
Yeah.
give it a shot and continue to watch it.
I'm gonna give it a continue and probably go up right till the end of it,
Yeah.
as far as I can go. So
I haven't watched 1 minute of it, so.
yeah.
Oh, I thought you had.
No, I haven't seen any
Please
of
do,
it.
Chris. I'll tell you, you'll be happy you did, especially
Yeah,
as the seasons progress. I envy you guys because now you're starting out with season 1, season 2. You guys can keep going,
Yeah.
where at one point I'm like, oh my God, like I can't
I
wait
need-
to see
yeah,
where you're
you
going to
need
keep
more.
going. Because
So-
I know who the bad guy is. I know what happened in the original TV series,
Mhm.
and I'm like, but you're not giving me that character. Like, there's so much depth now
Yeah.
to the villain that I'm like, I have no idea where you're going with this. I mean, I feel like at some point he's got to be a villain, but I have no idea. So when you feel like that, and you guys are just gonna be able to keep cruising
So it's
through.
basically the opposite of the Jurassic World movie.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, the thing is, when the first season starts, you get an hour-long episode to start. That's your pilot, and then everything else is around 22, 23 minutes.
Okay, and how
So-
many episodes per season?
So first season's 11.
Okay.
Second season, maybe around there. And then as the
Then they
season
drop
goes
off
on,
to
they start
7.
dropping down to 7, 8.
All right. So you can pretty much get through a lot of this.
I got
Yeah.
through
Pretty quick.
season
A couple
1.
weeks, you can probably
Yeah.
get through everything in 2 weeks.
I got through season 1 and halfway through season 2 in a day.
Yeah.
But that's just me.
Okay.
Because I'm
Yeah. I gotta tell you, when I see stuff like that, when I see Voltron and what they're able to do with Voltron, I'm like, Netflix, please, please, please go and do, I almost said Battlestar Galactica, but not Battlestar Galactica. It was called the Yamato.
Oh, Star Blazers.
Star Blazers. Please go do Star Blazers. You know, that now, you want to talk about a cartoon that they had a lot of depth in characters
Yeah.
and plot and theme
Yep.
and everything back then.
Yep.
Boy, bring it to today's standards.
Yeah.
I would love to see Star Blazers on Netflix.
Yeah.
I mean, if you brought Star Blazers to Netflix, I probably will be a subscriber until I die. That's how much
Yep.
I love the original Star
If
Blazers.
he's watching, you're probably going to get a friend request on Facebook just for saying that from my friend Caesar.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
massive Star Blazers.
I have the whole series on
Yeah.
DVD. Two seasons, and there was a third season that never aired here in the U.S. So they had to dub it, and they
Yeah.
couldn't use the same actors.
Yep. He's
So
got
there's a
that,
third.
too.
I didn't get
I
that
think
one
he's
just
got it,
because. Yeah. But anyway, Voltron. Getting back to Voltron, please give that one a try.
Yep.
What else? Rob, you bring up something.
some news updates that
Oh.
have been going on of future projects.
Mm-hmm.
One, I don't think you two care about. Rick and Morty has been ordered 75 more episodes, but
Wow.
it's been like 3 years in between each season, so I know a lot of people are loving that show. Other than that, Morbius has been announced, and
I
I'm
am
very
psyched.
excited about this
For where?
for a movie.
Yep.
Jared Leto playing
Oh,
Morbius.
right. Yeah, I did hear about
So-
that. That's right.
They don't have a date or anything. All they have is, hey, it's happening. Here's the main actor.
Yep.
Have fun.
I like that. Just
So,
go ahead and do
just-
it, and I don't need to be trolling anything.
Yeah.
Yep.
Just go do it.
Just like, hey, everybody, this is happening.
Yeah.
This is it. And no date, no other news except for Jared Leto's going to play Morbius.
Morbius,
And
the living vampire.
it's going to be... I'm excited about that project because Morbius is just one of those forgotten characters from Marvel Comics that...
I hope they bring Blade into it. Blade's in that universe, isn't he?
Oh,
Yeah, he is.
that would be awesome. Well, I'm surprised. This is tied to the Spider-Man universe, right?
This is
Oh,
this
yeah,
is
yeah.
part of
So-
this is part of the whole Sony.
I actually
Spider-Man
have some
universe.
Spider-Man Morbius comics.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
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 But the Blade character, there's been some talk, I don't know if it was just rumor mill, that we might see Blade on Netflix at some point. But then
Yeah.
I think that all got changed because of the new Disney streaming service. And,
Yeah.
and so
yeah.
I've heard that they're not going to put any more properties to Netflix. They're
Yeah.
going to continue to run the ones that they have.
Yeah.
Which I think is funny because what are we getting for Star Wars? Everything Star Wars is on Netflix.
Yeah, but
For
So
right
still
now it
feeding
is.
that.
those deals may expire, come
Yeah.
the advent of the
Disney streaming
Disney
service.
streaming
Yeah.
service. So I
Yeah.
think that we're kind of on a ticking.
We're on a ticking clock with
Clock for-
Marvel and Disney stuff on Netflix.
Yeah.
Until it gets all taken
More
down.
the reason to bring Star Blazers on. 'cause
Exactly.
This
there you
guy
go.
will
Sure.
subscribe for life.
Well,
What else?
Yeah.
What else you got?
were there any other news bits?
News bits? No, that's all I got.
No My Little
Okay.
Pony, anything? You don't have any? You have your
Um,
thumb on that? Pulse on that one? No. Okay.
No.
All right.
That was sarcasm from Wayne.
I know.
We do have another show, however, that's on Freeform right now.
So Freeform is
Yeah.
the new, got rebranded from ABC Family. Instead of the entire family, now all their shows and everything is geared towards people between the ages of maybe 12 to 14 to 29.
Yep.
30.
Hmm.
So more of the high school, college, teenage crowd.
High School Musical.
High School Musical. It's still Disney,
Yeah.
Yep.
but now they're starting with Cloak and Dagger. That started a couple weeks ago. I think this week's coming episode 5 or 6. I've watched up to episode 3, and I think the way they presented it for the audience that they're going for that doesn't know the Cloak and Dagger characters
Yeah.
from the comics.
Yep.
I think it's great with what they're doing with it for
So who are Cloak and Dagger?
Cloak is he's got a cloak. Pretty much
He's
transport.
a he. It's a
He's a
male.
he.
Yeah.
We're very linear here.
Is Dagger
Yeah.
a female?
Dagger's the female.
Okay.
They're from the X-Men universe, or no, Spider-Man. Spider-Man
Ah.
comics. I can't remember.
Jeez,
Where they
I can't
originated.
remember where. Maybe producer guy can tell us where Cloak and Dagger first appeared in Marvel Comics.
Come on,
They-
Peanut Gallery. We're giving
they,
you a chance to
yeah.
talk.
Either way, they
Right.
can't.
Give me a second.
They can't live without each other. One of them is more of dark. Cloak is more of darkness and
Are they twins?
teleports. They're not
No,
twins.
not
Are
at
they
all.
symbiote? They
No,
live off
they're
of
just
one
they don't live off of one another, but they can't
Okay.
live without each other.
another? Okay.
It's not love. It's more of a brother-sister
Okay.
relationship.
Okay. Oh, but they're
Um,
not really related.
No,
Okay.
not at
no,
all.
not at
Okay.
all.
Okay.
They
But-
were linked by an event.
They're
Oh,
linked
okay.
by an event,
Yeah.
and the universe just keeps pulling them together.
Mm.
So they've just become pretty much an iconic duo throughout the years.
It's not Star Wars. It's not the Force.
No,
that's-
no.
okay.
It's just
No,
it's
it's
just
rock
events.
Okay.
Dagger's power is shooting ice daggers from her
Oh.
hand.
She can
Okay.
basically the energy
Energy.
that she creates can materialize
She has
into
like
into
a light energy. Like
yeah.
Okay.
Her hands
so it's
will
not
glow.
ice.
it's not ice. It's more of like
Okay. I mean, it's light.
just a
Energy.
light energy.
Okay.
The energy produces a white light, and it forms into a dagger, and
Okay.
essentially she can just go like this and throw a million daggers at you.
And Cloak,
And
is he
Cloak
like
is-
he can?
He can
Not
basically
be seen?
teleport.
He basically
okay.
teleports
Yeah.
through his cloak.
Oh, he has a
he
cloak.
needs to be covered.
Okay.
Like that's the trick, is that he
Gotcha.
covers himself and he teleports.
So he has
somewhere.
one of those Harry Potter blanket things that
Yeah,
you can't be
there you
seen?
go. Yes.
Eh,
Yeah,
legit.
but it's not invisibility. It's just.
Are you
ooh,
mocking the
I'm going
characters
away.
here?
That's just my way of being able to
He's
process
still
what
learning.
you guys are telling me,
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
so I can
So-
understand.
But the way they present the show is they're both in high school. They both have a traumatic past.
Ah.
They both have something to fight for.
Yes.
Do they have parents?
They do.
One
Okay.
of yes, they do.
Because
That
sometimes
gets where
you-
the tricky story.
sometimes
comes
you get
in.
like I forget the thing on Disney now where iCarly, whatever. There's never a parent. I never see parents.
No, there's
They're in
parents.
this skyscraper. I'm
So-
like, who bought the food this week?
Yeah, I know.
I
what you
can't
mean.
watch you.
Yeah.
I can't watch you. You know, so
That-
that's why I'm
that's
always
a hilarious
asking.
show.
You know, like
No, this is, they both have something where their whole life they thought about it,
Mhm.
or they've
Yeah.
thought of, I'm down here, I'm depressed, by this one event that happened,
Mhm.
that both tragedies in their life connected them.
Yep.
So now
They
this
both
event
have-
that you're talking about, are you not telling me the event intentionally,
So-
or
Well-
with the events evolving from episodes, so we're learning as we go.
They actually all happened in the same episode.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Okay.
the
both
very
have-
first episode, you see
Oh, so you
basically
figured out,
both their
okay.
stories
You see
Oh,
both their
from their
stories,
childhood.
and
Okay.
it's pretty much mirrored tragedies.
Okay.
The more or less, again, spoilers here, but
Yeah.
you have Cloak's story. He's a young black man, well, in this case, little boy. He has an older brother who he looks up to very much. The older brother is very protective of his younger brother. His friends, the older brother's friends, are maybe not quite above board.
Yeah.
They they're seeking to get in trouble to steal things, and create some mayhem. Nothing like violent. Sorry, I'm having equipment issues here. But the older brother trying to protect him from it basically leads to the younger brother wanting to help his older brother, to maybe prove something to him. And he ends up basically stealing a car stereo that for his brother, that the brother said, no, I'm not going to do that to the friends.
So as they go to return it, the cops show up.
Yeah, because the older brother doesn't he
Yeah.
doesn't want to basically visit that kind of trouble upon him and his family, and so they go to return it, and it ends up becoming a cop chase situation.
So
Okay.
they're running from the cops, and then you cut to little Dagger.
Yep.
When she's a young child, she's driving in the car with her father, and basically the cop chase on the other side ends up with his older brother getting shot, and he falls into the harbor. So he jumps in after his older brother, but he can't swim that well, so he starts just getting knocked out. He gets knocked out somehow, and he's floating away. And then on her side, her father's driving the car, he's on the phone being distracted, and they go off a bridge into the same harbor.
A little bit of a missing a big point though. Why
Yeah.
was he distracted?
So he's distracted on the phone because his company is doing something, like his company is not doing anything good to help him out, and a oil
It
rig?
was an oil rig and
Oil
a
rig
safety
blew up.
issue that he was on the phone about, saying
He was trying to make it right, telling them what to do. They said, no, screw it. It blows up, and then after his death, he gets blamed for it. So then her and her mom are outcasted, and they lose all their money. But anyway, they end up in the same harbor, and he notices her in the car drowning, and the first time their powers fuse together, he's reaching for her hand to get her, and he transports them to the beach.
Oh, cool. Okay.
But there had been something when they were both in the water together.
Yeah, it's
That because of whatever happened at this oil rig, which apparently wasn't really an oil rig, it was something else.
Yeah.
But an energy burst basically emitted from the collapsing oil rig station, and the pulse went right through the water and passed right through the both of them.
Yep.
And it leads you to surmise that the source of their power is whatever this event was, this energy event. So then we fast
Yep.
forward. They're on the beach. The little girl gets up, and the little boy is still kind of passed out on the beach, and she leaves, and they never see each other again until many years later.
Until they're probably both 18 years old by now when they finally get drawn together again.
And their lives have completely diverged. I mean, they're both troubled, but you could tell Cloak's character is, even though he's angry, he's kind of more on the straight and narrow than Dagger's character. Dagger is definitely the more tragic of the stories here. She is basically led to, she's got an alcoholic mother, and she herself has basically lived a life of crime of late. She's got a boyfriend, and all they do is basically target rich young guys and basically roll them.
Yep.
And that, so she's basically a thief.
Mhm.
She, you know, puts her romantic advances, drugs them, and then takes their money. And that's how she
So-
makes her life.
But then on the other side with him, it's always anger issues about, he always has anger issues, and whenever he gets in trouble with school or whatnot, it's all because of his anger issues from his brother dying. And then with her, she's down in the dumps, she's homeless, she's doing this to survive because her father died, and she can't live with her mother. So their entire lives, it's because everything they do or everything bad happens to them, it's based off of that one event. And when they finally meet up again, just a simple touch, their energies kind of connected and kind of had a little burst.
Trigger their
Yeah,
abilities.
which connects, yeah, yeah.
So
Gotcha.
they're just like, what was that? And then she runs away without him realizing, and then as the first few episodes go on, they're just finally figuring out, what is this?
And I think the key here is that, like, they're both, even though they're both broken people who can't fix themselves, they apparently need each other to fix each other.
Yeah.
They, like,
Yeah.
she can help fix him,
Yeah.
and he can help fix her.
Right.
But they can't do it on their own.
Right.
At least,
Yeah.
you
So
know,
they're linked
at
by
least
the
according to
event,
the
and they're
story.
linked by a need to help one another
Yeah.
resolve
Yes.
their issues.
Yes.
Got it.
But so far, you know, what I've seen from it, I loved the first episode. I thought it was excellent.
Yeah.
I love the whole idea of Roxxon. I believe Roxxon is very prevalent in a lot of the comic stories.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
we were talking Weapon H last video shoot, and in Weapon H, the company
Yep.
is Roxxon, right?
Yep.
I believe this is not the first appearance of Roxxon in
No.
the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I think Roxxon appeared in either one of the Iron Man films or I
Maybe.
can't remember, but you know, in the very first episode of Cloak and Dagger, Roxxon is very prominently featured.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, all right, here's an immediate tie to the larger Marvel
Yeah.
universe, and you know, so that was a fantastic first episode. The second episode was absolutely bizarre to me. It went into this like whole dream sequence thing, basically, where they're having visions of each other's lives and the mistakes that they're going to make. Basically,
Yeah.
you know, basically their tragic lives being made 10 times worse by an action that each of them were going to take, and it was very bizarre how they pulled that off, that whole like dream sequence stuff.
Because the dream sequence parts were more of establishing what their powers are.
Yep.
So pretty much they also both have this power where they touch somebody, they can see that person's past, they can see into their minds and see what that person truly wants, or what mistakes they've made that have stuck with them.
Mm-hmm.
So, second episode, it goes in and it keeps going with that, and they're just trying to figure out their powers at that point. So, that delivery on that, the second episode, I can see why you think it's a little weird, but then the third episode comes in and it just evolves more, where the third episode is, okay, I know I have these powers, but now these powers are starting to happen at random, and they can't control it yet. So now in this season, pretty sure it's just gonna keep on going to, they'll figure out how to use their powers and figure out how to work together to solve each other's problems.
Yep.
So,
You know, I have to say that it's a show that I think if you enjoyed The Runaways, which was on Hulu, I think this will definitely be, even though tonally it's a little bit different, but I think it really appeals to the same age group.
Yeah.
Probably a similar target audience. I wouldn't be surprised if you had eventually a Runaways Cloak and Dagger crossover. It seems that it would fit very well. So all in all, pretty good. I mean,
Yeah, it's still early on, and
Yep.
you gotta let this first season go and see where it brings you
right.
to really
Exactly.
judge on. I think the start of it and the boot up of it was a great presentation for what they're trying to do.
Mhm.
I might not like all of it because of the things I like, but for what they're trying to do with it, I can see it as it's going well and it's good.
Well, Runaways. I'm going to bring it back to that again because Runaways was a property that even as a comic reader, I hadn't read any Runaways comic books prior, and I wasn't convinced that I was going to enjoy it. But of course, I watch it out of obligation. Being in this industry, and I really enjoyed the heck out of the Runaways. I loved the story. These were characters I had no familiarity with at all, and so I'm hoping that I kind of get the same thing with Cloak and Dagger, because Cloak and Dagger, although I'm aware of the characters, I knew visually what they looked like from the comics, but I don't think I've really read any comics with those characters in them. I think I've only seen them in the past, so they were kind of like they're all through the 90s, era, the bargain bins,
Yeah.
basically. If you go into any comic book shop, go peruse the bargain bins, you'll find Cloak and Dagger comics.
You'll find them in Spider-Man 90s cartoons. You'll find them
Yep.
in more recent Spider-Man cartoons.
Yep.
Just a little bit here and there,
Yeah.
but yeah,
But all in all, I know very little about the
Yeah.
characters. So it's actually kind of refreshing because you really just come in with absolutely no expectation or preconception of what you should be seeing, and you're really just seeing something that feels fresh. So that's kind of a cool thing. Do we have anything else?
Do you want to talk Westworld briefly? I mean,
I've not seen it.
I can tell you. So Westworld, have you seen the first season?
No.
No. Well, Westworld was a TV show way back in the 70s. I think it was
I think it was a movie, right?
Started off as a movie,
The
then
old
to
runner.
a TV show, and so the concept is there. What HBO has started to do, they took the concept, modernized it, and gave you a heck of a first season. I don't know if they were truly prepared that we might have a second or third season or whatever. I enjoyed it. It took a little bit of time to say I'm going to commit myself to this show, because you're like, where are you taking me? Where are you taking me? You keep going through episode after episode, and then as they start to wind things down, you start, oh, okay, all right, we're going to keep going. Then you have the season finale, and you're just kind of floored, like, wow, where are we going now with season 2? Season 2, we're taken to a different world. You're not in Westworld now. Now you're like in, I don't know what they call it, but it's like I don't want to call it China, because I don't think it's Japan, but maybe it is. But so you go to this Oriental type world. We'll call it like Japan, and you see that. We've also seen a India type world, so Mideast type world, and they've taken you into the real world. And without giving anything away, there are some revelations to what's been going on with this corporation over the years and what they're really trying to accomplish. It's really interesting. Like this season, man, just can't get enough of it, really. So if you haven't watched Westworld Season 1, please do. And give it a shot, because by the time you get to the very last episode of Season 1, I think you're going to be curious to, well, where are we going with it? Season 2, just so good. Writing is so good. Yeah, I'm really enjoying it.
Well,
So
hopefully
if
we
you
can
guys
do a
haven't-
future episode where we can actually talk about it. I
Yeah, I
have
hate
wanted
taking
to
it away.
watch. I've wanted to watch the show. I don't have. I don't have Showtime, or is it
HBO.
Showtime or is it HBO?
HBO.
HBO. Sorry, I don't have HBO, so I haven't had the opportunity to see it. Sadly, my viewing is limited, but you know, I would like to get into that show. I loved the old Yul Brynner version. Years ago, there was a rumor of, before they actually started producing the show again, there was rumors of like Arnold Schwarzenegger being attached to the project, which was kind of interesting to me. But yeah, I mean, it's one of those. It's getting a lot of good positive buzz. Most people I talk to who do watch it, you know, or have watched it, have said very good things about it. So one of these days, I'll get around to it.
Yeah, if you do
Yeah.
get a chance to catch it, give it, you know, just stick with it, because I felt like at one point in the first season, I felt like, oh, I'm this far into it, I might as well just finish it out, you know. But it became rewarding toward the end of the season. Now watching this season, I just, wow, can't wait for the next episode. Can't wait for the next episode. You know, so
Awesome.
good stuff. Yeah, very good characters. Very good. Excellent casting.
Mhm.
Excellent casting. So yeah, you'll recognize Cyclops is in there. The actor who played Cyclops.
Okay.
Yeah, he's in it.
Nice.
And the woman that was in Han Solo, the love interest to Woody Harrelson, she's in it. She was also in ER years and years ago. That's where I remember first seeing her. She's an excellent actress. And there's a couple other actors that come in there that you may recognize here and there, but good stuff.
Okay. Well, that's all we have for you this month.
That's all
but
we got. Only
that's-
like 5 hours worth of talking.
That's it. But this time next month, I'm sure we'll be talking some Ant-Man and Wasp. So that'll be coming out next weekend, actually, as of this recording. So we hope you have a wonderful month ahead, and we'll see you again soon. Thanks for watching.